boy, and I'm back with my Week 6 NFL predictions and some fantasy football nuggets. It's been a crazy season so far, right? How is your fantasy football team doing? Two teams remain undefeated, Minnesota Vikings and the two-time defending champs, those Chiefs. How are they doing it with all these injuries? It is what it is. So with no further ado, let's get into this. Starting with our Thursday night game, we got the 2-3 San Francisco 49ers coming off a loss to those Cardinals, hitting the road to Seattle in a division game to play those 3-2 Seahawks, coming off a victory over those Giants. It was a good game. Didn't see the same Geno Smith that we saw, stats-wise. And we didn't see DK Metcalf score a touchdown. We didn't see Kenneth Walker score a touchdown, but they still won. Is that going to be enough this week against those Niners who kind of ticked off? I don't think so. I think the number 2 offense in the NFL, I think having the number 2 tight end in Kittles is going to be overpowering to this defense in Seattle. 8 catches for him, 8 catches for Ayuk. I like that. And then you still got Debo. Don't forget, number 5 rusher in the league, Mr. Jordan Mason is still over there. So this defense is real deal. I think San Fran bounces back. I think they're going to get one on the road. Final score, 28-24, 49ers. We have another early morning Sunday game in London. This time it's the Bears and the Jaguars about to go at it at 9:30. Unless you're in Vegas like I will be for the Raiders. That means 6:30. Not watching that game. I'll tell you what, Trevor Lawrence, did you play him last week against the Colts? The worst secondary in the game? If you didn't, all right, hopefully you still won. But Tank Bigsby, he got some carries that he normally doesn't get because Travis Etienne dealing with that shoulder injury, right? Will he play this week? We shall see. Brian Thomas Jr. was the man, 122 yards and a touchdown. And then, of course, Christian Kirk. He stayed relevant. Needs some more production from you. But either way, you're not going to get it done against these Bears because they've been balling coming off a victory over those Panthers. The game wasn't even close. Caleb Williams is getting comfortable. What was he, 20 of 29, over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, using his legs when he's supposed to. Finding DJ Moore, finally. He is that dude. You can bring in Mr. Keenan Allen. You can bring all these other weapons in. DJ Moore, that's his team. How about Mr. DeAndre Swift? He still was relevant. He got him a touchdown. Only ran for like 70 yards, but I love his 20-plus carries. I love they finding him out the backfield. Roschon Johnson, he stole a couple carries at the goal line, got him 2 touchdowns, got 10 carries. Is that enough to pick him up? I don't think so. I think the Bears are going to get this done at home. Final score, 21-17, the Bears. Kicking off our 1 o'clock games, we got the 3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a loss to them Falcons. What a game that was last week. Hitting the road to New Orleans to play these 2-3 Saints, coming off a loss to them Chiefs. But they also just lost their quarterback, Mr. Derek Carr, dealing with an oblique injury. He could miss some time from that. They do have Alvin Kamara, the number 1 overall fantasy running back, number 2 overall fantasy player. Is that enough? I think the number 3 quarterback in all of fantasy football might have something to say about that. Mr. Baker Mayfield got a nice little backfield of his own. Bucky Irvin, Rashad White. Of course, they're in a little timeshare of their own, but they're getting it done. Don't forget about Mr. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Mike got him 2 touchdowns last week. This offense is rolling, and that defense is good enough to get the victory on the road. Final score, 21-17, the Bucks. Game of the week, fantasy football heaven right here. 4-1 Washington Commanders led by Mr. Jaden Daniels, coming off a victory over those Browns this past weekend. Heading to Baltimore, take on these 3-2 Ravens, of course led by Lamar Jackson, coming off a victory over those Bengals. That was a very good game of its own. I think the MVP of the year is in this game. Jaden Daniels got some weapons. Brian Robinson Jr. has been running that ball. They got Austin Eckler back, and Scary Terry starting to do his thing. But this team's going to win some games this year without a doubt. Just not this week. You're asking a lot to go into Baltimore, take on the 2-time MVP with Derrick Henry, who rushed for just under 100 yards, got him a touchdown. Lamar threw for over 4 touchdowns. 300 plus yards. Scary stuff. Zay Flowers over 100 yards receiving. Man, even got Mr. Andrews involved. Of course, likely got 2 cheap touchdowns, but it is what it is, right? Number 1 rushing offense, Baltimore. Number 2 rushing offense, Washington. Number 1 overall offense, Baltimore. Number 5 overall offense, Washington. It's going to be a good game. High-scoring game. I think the Ravens are going to take care of business at home in a very high-scoring game. Final score, 35-31. Ravens continue that winning streak. The 2-3 Arizona Cardinals coming off a victory over those 49ers, hitting the road to Green Bay to take on these 3-2 Packers. Tell you what, Kyler Murray, you won, but 195 yards passing, we need more from you. How about Trey McBride? 6 catches, 50 yards, 11 points? A little bit more, but that's still honorable. James Conner, 80 yards rushing, no touchdowns. Come on, man. Killing me. Then Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 receptions. You haven't had a good game since week 2. This ain't going to get it done against this Green Bay team. Currently the number 3 ranked offense overall. The number 3 rushing offense led by Josh Jacobs. Wish he was still a Raider. It is what it is. Jaden Reed, he happy Jordan Love is back. And Jordan Love is starting to get his feet back under him. Should be a top 5 quarterback when it's all said and done. Then how about Mr. Tucker Kraft? Number 3 ranked tight end in all of fantasy football. He should have been a hot waiver wire pickup for you. And if he's still there, you better go get him. I see Green Bay taking care of business in this one at home. Final score, 24-21, the Packers. The 2-3 Indianapolis Colts coming off a loss to those Jaguars last week. Hitting the road to Tennessee to play these 1-3 Titans. Coming off a bye week. That should mean a victory if you got 2 weeks to prepare for the other team and you're at home. Yeah, nah. Number 32 ranked offense. They do have the number 1 ranked defense, but again, coming off a bye week. That's how it goes. If old man Joe Flacco is playing, I'm taking the Colts. Alec Pierce, he just needs 3 catches. That's it to get 133 plus yards. Got him a touchdown. Michael Pittman's getting involved. And I love how they're utilizing Josh Downs, who has been a hot waiver wire pickup. If he's still there, you might want to go scoop him up. Getting this done without Jonathan Taylor in a real running game. So I see Flacco, even against this defense, if he's going to be playing, of course. I see him getting 300 plus yards, throwing a couple touchdowns, and getting the victory. Final score, 24-17, Colts. The 4-1 Houston Texans coming off a victory over those Buffalo Bills. That was impressive. Hitting the road to New England to play these 1-4 Patriots. Coming off a loss to the Dolphins. Worst pass offense in the league, led by Jacoby Brissett. So sit Jacoby, bring in Drake May. We'll see how that plays, right? Ramondre Stevenson, I said he was going to get you 100 yards last week. He's about 10 yards short, got you a touchdown. But back to Drake May, throwing this man to the wolves. Against the number 5 ranked defense against the pass, number 5 overall. And then C.J. Stroud with the number 1 ranked pass offense, number 5 overall. Now, they're going to have to do this without Nico Collins dealing with a hamstring. That's okay. That's why they brought in Stephon Diggs. Must start this week. Now, no Joe Mixon, I don't believe. So we'll see how that goes, but don't need him in this one. It's going to be a blowout, easy pick of the week. Final score, 31-14. Yeah, the Texans are for real. The 1-4 Cleveland Browns got their butts handed to them by those Commanders this past week. Now they're hitting the road to Philly to play those 2-2 Eagles, coming off a bye week, meaning they had 2 weeks to prepare for these boys. It's not good for you guys, Cleveland, unless y'all start Jameis Winston. Why not? Deshaun Watson, 125 yards, touchdown, no interception. So what? Need a spark. Amari Cooper's killing me right now. I don't think y'all going to be able to get it done. Now, the weak link that everyone's been kind of saying undercover has been Mr. Hurts over there. But after a bye week, I think that's going to change. They're going to get A.J. Brown back. They still got the number 4 tight end in fantasy football, and Mr. Goddard. That's even after a bye week. Still got the number 3 rusher, of course, Saquon Barkley, even after a bye week. I think this offense is going to soar. I think this defense is going to play better than they have in the last few weeks. Eagles take this one with ease. Final score, 28-17 Eagles. Kicking off our 4 o'clock games, we got the 2-2 LA Chargers coming off a bye week, heading to Denver in a divisional game to play these 3-2 Broncos, coming off a victory over my Raiders. It's all good. Patrick Surtain, he is the truth, man. How about Bo Nix? Threw for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Javonte Williams, 13 carries, also 5 receptions for 50 yards. No touchdowns, but I love the 18 touches, right? He may be worthy of picking up and starting. Who knows? Courtland Sutton is the opposite. I dropped him. He's not getting it done. I don't see Denver winning this one because LA's had 2 weeks to prepare for this. Ken McConkley, their rookie wide receiver out there in LA with them Chargers, can he get it done for him? I don't know. I need J.K. Dobbins to run that ball. It's going to be a low-scoring game because these defenses are very good, both of them. I mean, Chargers sitting on the number 2 defense, while the Broncos sitting on the 4th-ranked defense. And the Chargers got the 31st ranked offense. Sure, they coming off a bye week, right? Still, low-scoring game. Final score, 17-14 Chargers. The 3-2 Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a loss to those Cowboys, hitting the road to Vegas to play my Raiders, sitting at 2-3, coming off a loss to those Broncos. I'll be at this game, all the way from Atlanta. It's all good. I play poker as well. I got to have something because my team is pathetic. Don't know who's going to be at quarterback. Is it Gardner Minshew? Is it Aiden O'Connell? Hopefully it's Aiden O'Connell. Haven't had a 100-yard rusher all year. Doubt we have one with these rushers we got. Then, of course, with Devontae Adams dealing with a hamstring issue until he's traded, we're just going to move Jacoby Myers up to the number 1 spot. Doesn't work that way. Yeah, you was number 1 in New England for 1 or 2 years, but you're a co-pilot. Trey Tucker, you could be the number 1 if you want to be. Let's see what you got. We do have the number 1 tight end in fantasy football, Brock Bowers. Thank God for him. But I just see Justin Fields and this Steelers offense coming in with a better game plan than we got. Both these teams got good defenses, but Pittsburgh, they ranked in the top 5. George Pickens, on and off, but they're starting to click. And then, of course, Najee Harris is their bell cow. They just have a better game plan. And Fairmouth, he's a good tight end. So I hate it, but I think we're going to take an L at home. Once again, I hope I'm wrong. Low-scoring game. Final score, 17-14. Moving on to the next game. The 3-2 Atlanta Falcons coming off an impressive victory over those Bucs last week. Now they got another divisional opponent as they're hitting the road to Carolina. Sitting at 1-4, those Panthers got their butts kicked by the Bears. I don't think it's going to end this week. Andy Dalton hasn't looked good since he initially replaced Bryce Young. What he threw for 136 yards last week. No touchdowns, 1 interception. Deontay Johnson, 3 catches. He's supposed to be that dude. Matter of fact, the only bright spot's been Chuba Hubbard. Just missed 100 yards. That would have gave him 3 consecutive games with 100, but he did get a touchdown. Now, that's just too much Kirk Cousins. 500 yards last week against a pretty good Bucs defense. 4 touchdowns. You get a catch. You, Bijan, out the backfield. How about Drake London? 12 catches. He got him a touchdown. Over 150-plus yards. I think it was like 160, 165. Darnell Mooney, 9 catches. 2 touchdowns. Both of these receivers are worth adding if you haven't already. They are not on your waiver wire. You might want to go trade for one or the other. Even Kyle Pitts got involved. I needed him to get me some yards to get me a victory. But I'll tell you what, Falcons ain't going to stop. If this defense catches up to that offense, watch out for these boys. I see them getting the road victory easily. Final score, 28-17 Falcons. 3-1 Detroit Lions coming off a bye week. Heading to Dallas to play these 3-2 Cowboys, coming off a victory over those Steelers. Tell you what, they're coming in with the number 2 ranked pass offense. Dak's moving that ball around. CeeDee Lamb, only 5 receptions. Jump ball 4. Jump ball. Got you. Maybe that's what he said. Who knows? I like that second-year wide receiver they got in Jalen Tolbert. He caught 7 balls. Worth picking up. Jake Ferguson. I think he's going to be a top 10 fantasy tight end when it's all said and done. And then Rico Dowdell. How about that? 20 carries, 2 receptions, 1 for a touchdown. Still don't think it's going to be enough because Detroit's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game with all these weapons. It's time to get Sam Laporta the ball. You need to show up for me. I got you in 4 leagues. I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is your squad. Sure, Jamerson's been balling, and it's nice to have that 1-2-3 punch. It's going to come down to this running game, though. To me, the best in the NFL. David Montgomery's running over cats, and Jahmyr Gibbs, he is nice. I would love to have just one of these two. This defense, top 5 in the NFL. Sure, they came off a bye week, but they do have a nice defense. I tell you what, it's going to be a high-scoring game in my opinion, but I think Detroit's going to take care of business on the road. Final score, 28-24. Detroit's going to get this done. 1-3 Cincinnati Bengals coming off a loss to those Ravens. But it was a good game. Cincinnati's offense starting to gel, y'all. Now they're hitting up New York. Play those 2-3 Giants coming off a victory over those Seahawks. Also a good team. Tell you what, Daniel Jones is starting the ball. Over 250 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Also ran the ball 11 times. He's making good decisions right now. Now, they had to do it without Malik Nabers, who's still the number 4 fantasy wide receiver. It's amazing dealing with a concussion. He should play. We'll see. Darius Slayton, also Wan'Dale Robinson held it down. Both had 8 catches. Not bad. No Devin Singletary dealing with a groin injury, so they had to make a phone call. Tyrone Tracy showed up, ran for over 120 yards. Still don't think it's going to be enough because I think this Cincinnati team is ready. If the defense can show up, we got too many weapons. Joe Burrow's the number 4 ranked quarterback in fantasy. Jamar Chase is the number 1 ranked wide receiver in fantasy. He caught him 2 touchdowns, had 10 receptions. How about T. Higgins, 9 receptions, also caught 2 touchdowns. I think Cincinnati's about to get it done on the road. Final score, 28-21 Bengals. In our Monday night game, we got the 3-2 Buffalo Bills coming off a loss to those Texans in a close game. Hitting the road to the Big Apple to play these 2-3 Jets without a head coach because Robert Saleh's been fired. Is that you, Aaron Rodgers? Sure looks like it. Don't know. Josh Allen and company's going through their normal mid-season crisis. I mean, all of a sudden, James Cook, they can't get him the ball. He's not running like he was in the first 3 games of the year. And Dalton Kincaid is not looking like the tight end that we thought he was going to be. Josh Allen not making the best decisions right now. Then they're going to turn it on. It's the same Buffalo team, right? But the Jets, this could be a prove-it-all moment for Aaron Rodgers, that it was Robert's fault when we knew it wasn't. He might come out and throw for 300 yards because he got the weapons. Garrett Wilson, what do he have, 13 catches? They got a running game that they're not utilizing properly, right? Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, I mean, you got the weapons. Use these boys if you want to win against this Buffalo team and get back in the playoff hunt because you got the number 3 defense in the league. Got the best corner in Sauce Gardner. What's the problem here? It's always internal. Let's see if they can get it done at home. I think they will. Final score, 21-17, the Jets. There you have it. My picks are in final. I'm going to drop my bets while I'm in Vegas. If I do well, I'll bring them back. As well as poker table. We'll see if we can make some money while I'm there. Meet me back here on Wednesday while I'm going to give you my Week 6 results, as well as drop my Week 7 picks, and of course, some fantasy football talk. Until then, peace.